Yo, what's good, guys? Welcome to Contrast Comedy. I'm one of your hosts, Teddy B.
And I'm Jerry Corley, a.k.a. The Joke Doctor.
And I'm a.k.a. The Joke Doctor's assistant, working on getting my Joke Doctor's license so I don't go get sued for malpractice.
That's right. This episode is called the Tinfoil Hat episode.
We got some conspiracy theories for you. And please, I do kind of say some things. Don't take away my black card, y'all. Don't take away my black card. Enjoy the episode, y'all. Peace.
Boom. Woo! It's Black History for me.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Happy Black History Month. Although the history of the black man is not very happy in some instances.
Nah,
right?
man. Nah. Totally be like listening to I listen to like some more news and even more news, which is like this. It's like a edumenta. What's the word? It's like entertainment, but it's like educational. Infotainment, but it's like funny, and I love them. I love the writing and everything of that nature. I want to see if I can write for them. But anyways, I was listening to them yesterday.
So who's that?
It's even there's their YouTube is some more news, and it's not. Is his name Cody Banks? I don't think it's Cody Banks.
Is that the one you shared with me?
I think have I shared some more news with you? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. But they have a podcast called Even More News. But he has their YouTube channel is called Some More News. I even signed up for their Patreon. I freaking love them. But it's just like it's like the Daily Show for me because I never really got into the Daily Show. But I do love them. I love how Cody does. Like their writing is just freaking phenomenal. But they were just doing this last episode was Elon is an excellent gamer, and it was a whole play on like Elon thinks people are stupid, but then the episode was about how Elon is an excellent gamer, but not in the aspects of playing games, but in the aspects of playing games with people's lives and how he's manipulating and all that shit. And it was just funny how he tied it in, but in the beginning of the whole thing, it was talking about his whole trying to play that video game and him not really being able to play the video game, but then him finally admitting to paying people to play the video game. And then even like they were calling out some of the stuff we had called out in the podcast, or I was calling out in the podcast when we reported it. So that was pretty fucking cool. But anyways, I was listening to them yesterday, and I was listening to the podcast, Even More News, and it was just like a lot of the shit they were just talking about. It was just like, it made me think of that James Baldwin quote where it's all like, being black and living in America feels like you're on fire all the time. I'm paraphrasing because I'm not probably saying it right. And I'm wearing a Black History Month shirt. I can't even say the phrase right. Come on. But I'm black. Come on. I'm going to lose my black card because of this. It's just like, we're living in the age right now where it's just seriously, everything you hear and everything is just like, just makes you feel like you're on fire. But yeah, it was crazy. And then like one of their guests is her name's Melania, and she's done like she was like the chick that was on the AT&T commercials. This chick was always cute. But anyways, she said something that was like really like made me think about shit too. Is like us going on Instagram, us going on Facebook, going on Twitter. It's just giving more money to these fuckers, just like what your friend said about the broligarchy and shit. And so now it's like, it got me even more like having this like love-hate relationship with social media, right? I'm a comedian. I want to get my name out there. I want to do that type of stuff. But then it's like, I don't want to contribute to the fucking monster. I don't want to contribute to their fucking paychecks and shit. It's just shitty, man. Shitty. Like social media is such the biggest grift ever. It's supposed to be making us close and together. And it's like, there's no socialness, and it's just all media. Media, and it's not even good media. It's bad media.
Yeah, it's not even good. And you're right. It's like you could see how it's manipulative. When you go back and you start looking at the way Elon Musk, the reason he bought Twitter in such a shitty deal.
Yeah.
As a businessman, it was a shitty deal. And especially if you're talking about business, as far as the investment in social media, it's a shitty deal.
Shitty
but
deal.
His plan had nothing to do with that. His plan
Be
was
popular.
to buy and own a media source so that he can influence the election
Mm.
and get his message out there. And he was able to do that by basically pushing down, opinions and thoughts and posts that did not reflect his values and amping up, pushing out the ones that reflected his angle, his goal, etc. And
Hashtag
everybody,
neo Nazis.
yeah, and it's exactly. And so a lot of people say, well, he didn't even meet Trump till, dude, don't be an idiot.
Seriously.
He was basically, they were talking about it a long time ago when they were talking about, it was Musk's idea for the Space Force. Who was the person first talking about the Space Force? Donald Trump. They were already discussing this. They were friends. They just didn't publicize it
Yeah.
for a long time. And then, so they knew each other back then, but nobody does their research and nobody looks at people
No,
who are like,
because they
well, they
want
didn't
us
even know
dumb.
each other.
They
They
want
want
us
us dumb.
dumb.
It's
They
true. It's
want us dumb, man.
in our education system. That's why they've
Yep.
gotten rid of civics. We
Yeah,
don't
they're getting rid. They're getting get rid of the Department of Education. So I was watching. So something that like Elon is so big about is like the birth rate, right? And and he says just the birth rate, but I know it's the birth rate of white people that he's really concerned with. And,
You
and fucking, he's all like,
can do a joke there, so because I don't think black people have a problem fucking. Right?
no, people of color do not have a problem fucking.
So that could be your take, right? It's like,
Yes, yes. But he's all like, before when there was a higher birth rate, people weren't educated, people were religious, and what was the other thing? They didn't have jobs or some shit like that, but it was those three things, right? And if you look at what's happening now, they don't want people to be educated. They were stressed out. That's what it was. So people are making babies because there's like they're not educated, they're stressed out, and they're super religious. Which I don't understand what religion has to do with like having more babies, but whatever. But now it's like, what's going on now? Trump's bringing in this whole faith task force. They're doing things about because I guess Christians are being discriminated against in the fucking in the government. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, come on. I think Jews and Catholics are being more discriminated than fucking Christians, but
yeah,
okay.
without a doubt. Without a
Jeez
doubt.
Louise,
It's all
bro.
bullshit. It's all propaganda,
It
and it's
is,
used to sell
man.
an angle of some sort. And let's take a look
Project
at that.
2025, man.
Yeah, it's like who is that? Who is Trump's faith advisor?
Forget her. Oh, it's this televangelist chick. I forget her name. All right,
So and it
close
says
that.
so Paula White Kane, right? So
Yeah,
Paula,
she's like some I
and
can't even say it.
she was actually married to a member of Journey.
What?
Yes, and basically stole got the it was got the keys to their account, their bank account, and stole a whole bunch of money.
Ah,
So
robbing Peter to pay Paul.
she's a fucking, she's a crook, right? And
Yes.
that's his choice for religious leader. Now, what I heard was, according to the Daily Mail, which of course is, take it like a
The
grain of
grain of
salt.
salt. Yeah.
But even Yahoo News was saying the outrageous choice. Christians furious as Trump appoints a heretic preacher.
A heretic.
Heretic. Holy shit, did they still even use that word? I just remember it was 1993 when the Catholic Church released the charge of heresy from Galileo.
What?
1993, bro.
Damn.
Yeah.
Galileo, like in the 16th century or
Yeah.
some shit like
So
that.
Galileo
Jesus
believed
Christ.
that the Earth revolved around the
The
sun,
sun.
not that the Earth was the center of the universe.
Like
So,
most white
of
people want
course,
to
like
be.
most people think a man has domain over, over the animals. Man has domain over the creatures. Oh, man has, what they didn't say in the Bible? Man has a domain over bacteria. Because that man did not know what bacteria was.
Mm.
Wouldn't God know what bacteria is? No, he
Uh,
doesn't. Why not? Because man wrote it, dumbass. Right? Get with the program. It's like
mhm.
they only can write what they know, and they didn't know about bacteria, right? So it's like, and they didn't know about viruses because
No,
it's microscopic. They don't have that back then.
no.
So it's like they did know about circumcision. That's interesting. when God had Abraham cut the tip of his dick off when he was like 98
Were
or
they
100,
using their mouths?
104. No, that's the Jewish faith.
That's the acidic Jews.
That's the Orthodox Hasidic Jews that do that mouth circumcision.
Oh my God, that was so crazy. It's like,
Oh
how
my
does my
God.
baby have fucking
How does my
herpes?
baby have herpes?
How
Yeah, well, first of all, how did that rabbi get
does the
herpes?
rabbi get herpes?
Oh my God,
That's
this is like
bad.
one guy on Twitter is constantly reminding people that remember everything that's done with an executive order can be undone with an executive order of the next president.
Yeah.
So
That's even if we get the chance to have a next president.
precisely, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm talking about.
But my mom, I was talking with my mom, and she's like, baby, don't worry. I don't even think Trump's gonna make it through this presidency. And I'm all like, I don't want JD Vance to be president.
I know that was a good strategic move. At least he's smart that way because he's like, what if I don't make it? Like, and then who do we leave here? This patsy, this
He's the
this
fall
fucking,
guy.
oh my God, this suck up. It's talking about,
Oh my
remember when
God.
flip flopper used to be a word? Like, that guy was like total flip flopping. All of
Oh
them
man.
did. All of them. They're all
All of them
calling,
did. Even Rubio flip flop.
yeah, calling Trump a traitor and all that. And all of a sudden they just started to suck up.
Sucking,
Um,
sucking the tea and the dick off of him.
Oh my God, it's so bad. So
I
it's like,
wonder, does he put tanning on his dick too?
no, he doesn't. You can see it's not on his hands. You can see where he stops it
It
behind his
stops it right
ear.
here.
Like, dude, it's
Oh,
like,
and then I saw this freaking. I was on Instagram. I try to like keep my Instagram, my social media to like 5 to 10 minutes. But I was on there, and there was this beautiful post. It was talking about DEI and like how the black White House spokesperson, all her credentials just listed out, right? Just bomb, bomb, bomb. And then this new White House spokesperson, and is basically she played softball. She married some rich white dude. So like this is all this like stuff that literally falls under DEI for white people.
yeah. Now, when we're talking about that DEI, I had this conversation with somebody who was basically like, "Well, DEI is wrong." I said, "Well, you're thinking of affirmative action, and that's not wrong either,
No.
because when traditionally you had these white-run institutions, they were discriminating against people of color, and unless they're Asian, or Indian, right? Because science and engineering." But basically, what I'm
Right.
trying to say, black and Mexican and Latino, right?
Yeah.
So nobody was discriminating against Canadians, right?
Mm-mm.
So we know what that is. It's basically flat out racism. So what they did to counter that, they came up with affirmative action to allow more women and more people of color to get a preferential treatment. Yes, just as fucking,
How it was done like
loyalists
years
do,
before. Yeah.
right? Those like when you have people whose dads went to the university, and all of a sudden you get in just because it's legacy,
Yeah, or
right?
nepotism and shit.
So why couldn't we go the other way with that? Now, DEI is basically to provide more options and to make it more available to those who are underrepresented in
Mm-hmm.
our society. So, lesbian, gay, people of color, anybody who's marginalized, they have
Yeah.
unrepresented, have more access to and make it more aware, make them more aware of these opportunities. They still have to qualify, right? You can't become an air traffic controller unless you pass the very rigorous
Yeah.
testing.
They're just not like, oh, you're black. Here, you can be an
Yeah.
ATC.
Right. It's not how it works, you morons. So, and if you believe that, you're a fucking idiot. Get off my page. And it's like,
Yes.
but in that sort of situation, so DEI, think about it. Underrepresented, get more representation. That's DEI. Well,
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I said, then you don't believe in the Electoral College?
They should get rid of that shit
Wait,
though.
what? That's not the same thing. Sure, it is. The Electoral College is there because states who have lower populations don't have as many representatives, and so they now part of the Electoral College. Now they have an equal voice. Wait, so aren't we helping those marginalized, underrepresented communities get more no more representation? Yes, that's D fucking EI, dude. So that's what that is. So we should just eliminate that while we're eliminating DEI. Get rid of that electoral college. Let's see how well that goes for you.
Yeah, but they don't want to
But
do that because
I don't want to see
that's what they
that.
use that's what they used to win was the electoral college.
That's right.
Because
That's
it's
all
not
they
the
use.
it's never the popular vote. That's where
Mm-mm.
Republicans be winning off of.
Wow, man. Well, and when you got people that are pulling the cards, thanks to Elon, he's so good with those computers.
Yeah, he's
Nobody's better
finally
with the election computers. That's why we took Pennsylvania in a landslide. And they're like prosecutors out there going, I think he just confessed.
yeah. Oh, so I was also watching on some more news because they're doing the whole thing on Elon. I there's a unedited version of when Tucker was interviewing Elon, and then Elon brought his kid up there, and Elon's kid was talking, and the kid said something about, haha, they'll never know. And at Space Force we could do, or at SpaceX we do whatever we want to do. It just kids from the mouth of from what is it from the mouth of God to or from the mouth of God to the lips of kids, or however the hell that one goes. I can't get shit right today. But kids say the darndest things, and kids just spit out what they hear. So it's funny that the kid sit there and says they'll never know. Obviously, Elon must have been saying something like that because the version that gets put out, Tucker freaking edited all that shit out. So
Right.
that part's not even in there. So, and now because I remember in the last episode, I was like, oh yeah, he was paying people to vote in there's like that $1 million contest. Come to find out, it was staged. They were shills, and now he's actually there's a lawsuit against that shit where he might have to pay buco bucks for that shit.
Well, I knew at the beginning that there are rules regarding federal rules that regulate sweepstakes and contests,
Mm-hmm.
and they knew too. And it's like when they tried to block it, that whoever let that play, I think it was a judge in Pennsylvania who let it go through. And it's like, you should know better than that. It doesn't meet the minimum criteria for sweepstakes and contests. And it's like, and so it shouldn't discriminate against political party too. If you're going to have a sweepstakes, and a Democrat should be able to run for that. And it's
Yeah.
like, but they were paying $1 million in the sweepstakes and contest for if you register, you'll be selected. You have possible selection for this sweepstakes
$1 million.
prize.
Yeah.
And it's like it turns out if it's fake, guess what? You got to pay all that money, and it's like all those other people who can sue now because they registered and they were basically lied to.
Pretty much,
So,
man. Class
but
action lawsuit. Damn it.
what's interesting about the cult, right,
My
and why
God,
we
it is a
call it a
cult. It
cult,
is a cult.
because it's even those people like, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. So you got Americans who are watching their rights be taken away,
Mhm.
and they're like, there's nothing wrong with that because they're fans of either Elon Musk or Donald Trump, and nothing they can do in their eyes is wrong, and that's cultish, right? That's a
Yeah.
very big cult,
It's like a parasocial relationship, and it's a one-way parasocial relationship because neither one of those motherfuckers gives a fuck about any of them.
None of them. None of
None
them.
of
They
them,
don't care about
bro.
you
None
because of
of
you.
them, dude. Like I listen to a lot of personal development books and like sales books and stuff, right? Especially like some of the older ones, like Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie, and all that type of stuff. And I was listening to a Brian Tracy one, and he was talking about how who was it? J.P. Rockefeller, and like how like they were philanthropists. Am I saying that right?
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist, not
Nice, you got
pedophile,
it.
philanthropist. There I go. There it is. And like how like it just made me think like how all these old school rich people like Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller. There was one more person I wrote it down, but they were all philanthropists, all helping out the common man, helping them get money, doing what they can do because they wanted to build them up. Granted, they were all white, but nonetheless, helping them out. Yo, these fucking billionaires we got nowadays, dog, they ain't doing shit but helping themselves and then keeping everybody else poor. I was like,
Well,
dog, that
look,
is
yeah,
crazy.
if we go back and look at let's look at like when you had Nikolai Tesla. Nikolai Tesla came out with the hydroelectrolysis,
Mm-hmm.
which was 0 point energy. where you could take a car, a vehicle, and you could power it using water. How do you do
Ah.
that? You basically split the H2O, which is hydrogen and oxygen.
Hmm.
You split it off, and so you can split it off using hydroelectrolysis, where you split off the hydrogen. Hydrogen burns at like 5,000 degrees, right? So if you do that the right way, you have like the Toyota, the Mirage, or what's a Miran or something like that. It's called, which is
Hmm.
a hydrogen powered car.
No
Um,
shit.
that is like, and it uses water, and its byproduct, what comes out of its tailpipe is guess what?
Oxygen.
Steam,
Oh.
water.
Huh.
So in this case, the byproduct is water. So you take water, you split that atom, you split that not the atom, you split the molecule,
Molecules. Yeah.
and you have hydrogen and water. So the water gets dispensed as a byproduct as steam,
It goes
and you're
right back into
burning the
the
hydrogen.
air. Yeah.
So he had this available, and he wanted to make it available to the people. Now, the Defense Department said, we want this for war because if we don't have to fill our tanks and stuff with gas, we don't need gas fuel supply lines. We don't need any of that. We don't need to have any of that. We can totally have the advantage here because we're running our stuff on water. And so Nikolai Tesla said, no, I want this is for the people. And basically, so they said, fuck him up. So JP Morgan Chase, basically was like, all right, we're going to pull his loan.
Oof.
So they pulled his loan, and that's when Tesla went nuts and killed himself. So,
Ah.
so that's what that was. The United States, that was a vindication. That was a, we want this. You're not going to give it to us. We're going to fuck you up. So it's like they don't care about people. They don't care
Oh.
about people. If you really want to know, you want to go into a conspiracy theory,
Uh-huh.
there are sister ships, right? So if you looked up the sister ships, Titanic and Titanic sister ship.
What?
So now, if we look up the Titanic sister ships, the Titanic had two sister ships, the RMS Olympic and the HMHS Britannic. Now they
Huh.
were built by Harland Wolff in Belfast, Ireland, for the White Star Line. Now, one of the people who financed that and owned that was J.P. Morgan.
Ah.
So J. Pierpont Morgan, an American financier who controlled White Star Line's parent corporation. So, and there is a theory that the Olympic was ruled not worthy to insure. So it had an accident, and it was not worthy to insure. So instead of sending out the Olympic, which was scheduled to do the cross of the ocean, they changed the name of the Olympic to the Titanic,
Oh my God.
and they sent it out knowing it wasn't worthy to insure. But if you have a ship that's worth millions and millions of dollars and it's not worthy to insure, you want to recoup that money.
Yes.
So the businessman, JP Morgan, said change the name and send it out. And then when it sank, he collected all that insurance money. So that's one of the conspiracy theories that's out there. And there is evidently
Oh my
documentation
God.
to back that up. But they weren't going to talk about it. All those people died. So they weren't going to talk about insurance
No.
scam.
Jesus,
So
man.
this is when we say these people don't care about you,
He
they don't
don't.
care about you. The only thing they care about is that dollar. They only care about the millions and billions. That's all they care about. But think about how fucking brutal they are
Been scamming since the
and
fucking
scamming
inception of America.
since the
Jesus
beginning,
Christ,
man.
man. That's
And
wild, dude.
which is weird. It's like my son is a smart guy, and
Mhm.
it's like when we were talking about Trump's assassination
The wrestling,
attempt.
the wrestling stunt.
Yeah, the wrestling stunt. And if you watch that closely, if we could bring up that video and watch that closely, you can see that it's choreographed. Because at one point, they go to after he does the fight, fight, fight thing, they turn to leave, and they all do this to put their hand over Trump. You know who also does that? Trump. It's like the person that didn't memorize the dance move. Oh, that's right. We're supposed to do this, and he does this to have them all together. It's supposed to create a shield over the president. And so even Trump does this because it was just almost like in sync with the rhythm of the thing they all do, and he does that. And I'm like, you're not supposed to do that, dude. You're the one they're protecting.
Oh my gosh.
But in the rehearsal, remember they weren't out for 11 days before that
So they were, ha
they were
ha.
choreographing.
Ah, shit. Don't they do like something like this in the movie Wag the Dog, where it's
Yeah.
like, so I'm telling you, man, I got a feeling they're watching a lot of these movies and shit. It's like, hey,
Secret
yo,
Service.
we
Oh,
can
that's
fucking let's do this shit in real life.
if you think
We
about
can do
Trump and
this.
all the stuff he brings up, and you're like, what? Where the hell did he get this? It comes from some Breitbart shit or some dumb article that is propaganda. He's like, well, they said they're eating the dogs, and it's like they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the pets of the people who live there. You know,
It's
and it's like,
wild, man.
it's he finds these things and he goes with it. Now he's a big guy, big guy, a big fan of WWE.
Yes. Yes, I
Vince
remember I used to watch him back in the day when he was
McMahon
on
is a
there.
friend of his.
Oh man, and then the thing about it too, what's so wild, birds of a feather flock together, right?
That's
All
right.
the dirty shit McMahon has done to dudes and chicks, it's just like wow. And then
Yeah,
to make his
to a lot
wife,
of his
even though,
wrestlers.
yeah, even though him and his wife are divorced, Strange just decided to keep his last name, but whatever. Like now she's the head of the Department of Education. Like, golly, man, this shit is wild, dude.
So that let's take a look. When Trump came up with "You're fired" as part of his
Apprentice,
The Apprentice, where did that come from?
uh, did it come from McMahon? From wrestling?
Yes, sir. It came from McMahon.
Ha!
So if we look at that, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let's see if we can hear it. Um,
You're fired! You're fired! You! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired!
Hey,
You're
Big
fired!
Foley.
All right! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! You're
ah, you
Man,
see
what
that?
an over actor he was.
Right?
Jesus Christ, dude.
And that's where Trump got it, right? For
I wouldn't be
Celebrity
surprised.
Apprentice,
I wouldn't be
right?
surprised. I would not be
So
surprised.
like there's no doubt. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
it's like there's nothing original.
Nothing. And it's like I hated the show. Like I never really got into the show The Apprentice, but for some reason, Celebrity Apprentice, man, that show got me. I was a big fan of Celebrity Apprentice, but that's about it of anything of his.
I couldn't watch anything of his because, as a New Yorker, we already knew the guy was a con, right? And it was a crook. And so we already have that sort of like that who would watch that crook. And so but the rest of America didn't know,
Oh no,
right? They
no,
were like,
they
"Oh man, he's
ate
just
that shit
wonderful."
up.
Yeah, ate it
Ate
right
that
up,
shit
man.
up.
And that's why, part of what helped him win the
Get to the
presidency
deal.
the first
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
was that he was a star. I say Jon Stewart runs against whoever next year
Oh,
or in
I'd
2026,
vote for Jon Stewart in a heartbeat, man. Shit, dude. Like,
2028. Yeah.
ugh,
Well, Jon
gee.
Stewart, like he's smart. His ability for critical thought is pretty intense. It's hard to
Hmm.
beat him in any situation. And you look at like he had this one guy they were talking about the trans situation, and so Stewart's interviewing this guy. He goes, "So why is it that you're so concerned about the trans thing?" As well, to protect our children. He's like, so you're having these drag queens like reading books to the children. You think it's going to hurt your children? How's that going to hurt? He said, well, it's going to hurt them because now it's just inappropriate. It's not right, and we'd like so we need to eliminate that because it hurts our children. So wait a second, you're concerned about our children being hurt? Like so, he says that's right. To hurt so you want to protect the children. He said, what is the number one thing that kills children every year? Number one thing. He goes, I assume you're going to say guns. He goes, I'm not assuming. Don't assume. It's just a fact. It is. The number one killer of kids is firearms. It's a bit
That's
more than cancer, more than heart disease, more than anything, more than auto accidents, accidental poisoning. It's
Yeah.
firearms by a
Firearms.
huge margin.
Uh,
So if you really are concerned about kids, instead of going after the First Amendment for freedom of expression, why don't you go after the Second Amendment and maybe stop letting people bring guns to school to kill our kids? If you're really, really concerned about kids, protecting our kids, you're not concerned about
not
protecting our
concerned, man.
kids. You're just hateful.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like
then using that as a shield.
and you're using that as a shield. So we know,
Wild, bro.
but people don't think about it that way. People like go, oh my God, a drag queen. That's so inappropriate. Are you kidding me? Do you remember the show Bosom Buddies?
Right? Like that's what I'm saying, dude.
Didn't
Or
fucking bother
Mrs.
anybody.
Doubtfire.
Yeah, Mrs. Doubtfire. Come on. You with the program.
Some like it hot. Like, what is going on? Like, damn, that just really made me think about something now.
Yeah, it's like
They're so against this shit, but they haven't banned Some Like It Hot. They haven't banned Mrs. Doubtfire, and I wish they should do a remake of Bosom Buddies. I love Bosom Buddies. That was the shit. I love that show.
so it's like Tom Hanks' breakout role, right? So it's like
Yeah.
in that case.
That's how I got introduced to fucking Billy Joel, man.
So it's like, so yeah, it's like that's. But the thing that gets me is like one of the things is like they were saying and so many people said this too when they were being interviewed. It was like, I don't want my kids going to school and coming out trans. Like you're going out, they go to school in the morning and they come out in the afternoon. They're trans, right? You know anything about how that procedure works? It's like it doesn't take an afternoon, it doesn't take a morning, it doesn't take a school day. It's like, but you don't mind your kid going to school and coming back dead, right? It's that that's something you're cool with, but it's just that trans thing.
Bullied or shit.
Yeah, exactly. So what the fuck is wrong with people? Like the simple truth of what.
It's the tribalism, man. It's the tribalism, and it's the
totally.
fucking and it's the fact. I said this to my mom. It's the fact that white people are feeling like they were never the minority in America. They were always the majority. And now they are literally becoming the minority. And then especially with the birth rate not going up for them or anything like that, it's just dwindling down more and more and more. Like that's my conspiracy theory right there, is that fucking they want to they don't want to be the minority anymore. They want to be right. They want to be back in the popularity and stuff. Like this whole America First shit. Because I was I was putting up images for the podcast and stuff, and I was like finding like the stuff about the KKK when I was talking about it. The KKK was the original ones for doing all this America First shit, and now they're basically saying America First, and it's like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the thing that kills me is like the history teachers always say this: if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. And for some odd, strange reason, we don't want to know our history because we just want to fucking consume or continuously repeat it. It's stupid.
And what's another thing regarding Trump is like the guy is so unoriginal because like you're fired, Vince McMahon,
Right?
Make America Great Again.
Freaking
Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
It's like those red pill Gen Xers. That's not even original. You know, that or red pill alpha males.
Yes.
Red pill alpha males is like the red pill. That's fucking Matrix. Even your branding's not original. Like, how are you going to be? How are you alpha if you can't even think of your own shit? Right? So that's the thing that drives me nuts with this whole thing. It's like people do not pay attention. They don't read. They don't care.
No.
They're like they don't know that this guy's like he's unoriginal. He's a hack. He steals.
He's a racist.
He used to have. I mean, he had. Those little booths you could go to at a carnival, and you get your picture, and they put it on the cover of a magazine.
Yes.
He had one of those in his golf club in Bedminster, of him being on the cover of Time magazine. Now, he was never on the cover of Time magazine
until he became president.
But he put a poster up there of him on the cover of Time magazine because he got it done in one of these fucking carnival things.
Oh,
and then he put it up in his like club, like he was on the cover of Time magazine. And even people showed like, see, Time doesn't have this thin red line here, along with the, showing it's like the differences. So the guy's a fucking fraud,
He
has been a fraud
is.
his whole life. And now we're going to wind up, we're going to see what happens with all his executive orders and how he
Stop.
turns those.
Need something to drink.
You can drink some water right now, dude. It's not the end of the world, bro. Just let me finish doing the podcast. You can drink
talking,
water. It's not going to kill you.
talking
Water's
about
good for you.
talking about this and saying it's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world, bro. It's the end of America.
Oh, that is funny. That's something else I was talking to my mom about because he's all like, yeah, everything has its cycles, everything. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I guess we have like a good 400 year run. It was a nice 400-year run.
275 is a America. How
Yeah.
much is it? Like, yeah, 275.
Some of it was founded in what,
1776.
1776, and we're 2025. So yeah, damn, nice little 200-year run, but 275-year run. But yeah, man, because it's just it. And then the thing too is kind of similar to like how the is it the Roman Empire that fell, or Greeks and Romans was kind of the same thing, right? Because it was just like feed them, give them their entertainment, all these gladiator crazy ass entertainment stuff, while the wealthy keeps getting wealthy and then the poor keeps getting poor. And that's basically what's happening now. Hey, just give them the rage bait, give them the stuff, make the notifications more intriguing. Let's keep these fuckers on this social media and keep them dumb so we can just keep getting richer. Like the fact that there's like and I'm not even one of those like eat the rich type people, like whatever, but I am more of like, why is it that there's way more billionaires than there's ever been, right? And you can't sit there and say, oh, because of like everything's just so easy now, and these dudes are, power, they're like personal development, and they're just doing it. No, they're finding loopholes. They're having people and lobbyists that are able to keep their money in their pockets while everyone else has to pay it out. Like that's the thing of freaking like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were both assassinated, not because they were black, but because they started getting people, especially the poor people, to come together. And that's something that they didn't want to have happen. Because if we can get past the color, because it's not about color. It ain't about color. It's about classism, man. That's the fuck it's about. It's about the haves and the have-nots. And if the have-nots were to get together, we would take out the haves, but they don't want to have that happen.
That's right. And remember, we got to remember that if you think about it, 77 million people, they say, voted for Trump, right?
Yeah.
77 million people. So if 77 million people voted for Trump, we have 246 million, 262 million adults.
Mm.
So if you think about that, 262 what's 77 million? It's like 1/3.
Yeah.
30%. Not even he didn't get 30% of the vote.
Yeah.
So so you could say that 2/3 don't respect him. 2/3 think he's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, again, if we got together and decided that we were a union of the class that's being pushed down, the marginalized class, and we can
Yes.
get together, we would have enormous power.
Yeah.
But nobody's thinking like that.
No, they're not.
80% of this country's economy is driven by consumerism. And if the consumers got together and realized that they were being fucked and started to rise up against that, we'd be burning shit down.
Yeah.
Like I told you what happened, like with Ralph's. I go into Ralph's, right?
Yeah.
I go into Ralph's and they were like, they had the sliced fruit. And the sliced fruit is normally go in there watermelon, honeydew melon, pineapple, and it has in a little like these
little bowls.
little bowls.
Yeah.
And it was $5, right? Which is a lot.
It is a lot
Right?
for fucking sliced fucking
I can get the
fruit.
same thing over at Trader Joe's for $2.79, but it's like it's $5, and it's a big sticker, $5. Now, Trump said Saturday we're going to impose a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada, right? And so Ralph's had heard that, raised their prices on the fruit to $6. Trump backed off of that that tariff for
30
30
days,
days.
got a little 30-day break.
Ralph's kept it up there.
Hell yeah, man. I've been like, and it's like Ralph's is like right by my house, and I'm now a creature of habit. But it's just I've noticed it's like, man, my every like I'm not even buying that much. I was talking just about my mom. I'm like, not even buying that much, and I'm still over $100 fucking. Like
Right.
I gotta go drive out
And
go
you
back
gotta,
to Stater Brothers.
right.
I'm tired of dealing with this bullshit.
And it's like, when I can roll over the trader, well, I remember rolling through there was like $7 for $8 for a bag of chips. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? $8 for a bag of chips? No, I'm not going to give them $8 for a bag of chips. And it's like you can go over to Trader Joe's, same type of chips for 270, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you can get the same amount of chips at Trader Joe's for $2.70 or $3, and then you're paying $8 over at Ralph's, that's not inflation. That's corporate greed.
That is corporate greed,
Period.
man.
You
And
know,
then another thing they do is they'll hike up the price on like a standard or like manu or what's the word I'm looking for? Not man is like so like Eggo waffles. Eggo waffles will be like $5, but the Kroger waffles are $2.99. So it's like what the like they want you to like buy their stuff, but all it is just fucking white label. It's a
right.
white label. It is
That's
so
right.
it's like, oh my gosh, man.
And it's like they and the predatory pricing is just, to me, it's
Ugh.
unbelievable. They have like what was it? There's one of the things that had two sets of navel oranges, right?
Mhm.
So you have these navel oranges here were like it said 3.29 a pound. And it's like navel oranges here, or say 3.29 a pound, right? And then right up here it says navel oranges 2.89 each.
What?
I was like, you motherfuckers. So they're using, psychology.
Yeah.
It's an LP, right? So when you show the big one with all that says 3.79 a pound,
Pound.
and then you go, wait, 2.79, you've already got pound in your mind because the
So
big
you're
one captures
thinking,
your eye.
yes,
So the other one,
yes.
2.79, you're like, oh, okay. You put a few in there and you go to check out, and it's 4.29 each.
You're like, wait a
You're like,
minute.
how the fuck did this get so much? And then you go look at the
It's a
receipt and you
pound.
go, I'm not gonna fucking get them to change it and give me, fuck it. I don't have the
You're already
time
here. Yep.
because you're already tired from checking yourself out.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's wild.
People are gonna start talking
Wild.
about this. So Anonymous put a video up on TikTok,
Oh, did they?
and
I was wondering what happened to them.
it is kind of interesting. Want to listen to it? You want to take a
Yes,
listen
pull it
real
up.
fast?
Pull it
So
up.
I had to screen. Let me see. I don't even know if the sound came through. Hang on. Let me see if it came through first. Oh yeah. Okay. I got the sound.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it came up, and I am scared.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Because it is like heavy shit, but they're actually calling for taking up arms here. So in this case, I might as well take him up on it, and let's do this. So I
Uh-oh.
screen recorded it off of it was on it was on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So on X, what the fuck, whatever.
Call it Twitter, man. Fuck it.
Twitter's. But I'm kind of blown away here, and it's like worth a look. I think I don't care if people think I'm a conspiracy theorist, whatever. Yeah, I am. But if you aren't at this point, you're an idiot.
Well, fuck. I
Like I
mean,
was,
people were conspiracy theorists back when Biden was back in thing. They were
so
conspiracy theorists when Obama was
you know
fucking
what? And we
president.
should have been conspiracy theorists with this election because it almost like pretty much Newsweek has been covered. One of the only rags that have been covering the voting anomalies, right? They're talking about the bullet ballots and things like that. They're like, well, wait a second. He says even in Trump's previous election there were bullet ballots, but he had 5% bullet ballots, which is just the president voted for, but no legislators or senators or anything else. It's just the president was voted for. So it's 5%. This last election, 10%. So, which is a real anomaly,
That is,
according
man.
to voting history. So that's where they're going. All right, some shit's going on.
So why are
So
the Democrats just fucking taking this and laying down? You know, it's
the
just dumb.
Democrats have a problem, and the problem is
Their
they
branding.
don't want to be like them. And that is a problem when you're like, if we're like them, we don't want to be like them. And it's like, and so that becomes a problem. But if you're worried about being like them and it really takes you away from the truth, then you're worse
Than them.
than them. And
Yes.
I was trying to tell that to my son, right? Because we were talking about the assassination attempt.
Mhm.
And my son was like, "But Dad, somebody was killed in the audience." And I go, "Did we ever see a body?
Ah.
Did we ever
Dude,
did we ever
good
find
point,
out?
bro.
Did we ever see a body of the kid that was the assassin, the
Good point. They
so-called
just showed the
assassin?"
picture.
They just showed a picture. They had us believe it because I remember them showing us after 9/11. They showed this image on TV where this sort of like blue flickering light, and you saw Osama bin Laden talking to another guy, and it's like we saw this blue flickering light. He goes, "This is Osama bin Laden in a cave." And he's watching the TV of the plane going into the towers. I was like, first of all, it's just a picture of him with a blue flashing light on him. But because they told us that, everybody bought
I
into it.
believed it. Yeah.
And so it's like, that's how powerful it is. You tell them often enough.
Yes.
And they ran this over and over and over. There's no TV. There was no indication of that. It was just a blue flashing light. And so we assumed that was a TV he was watching and we bought into it.
Yeah, there's a Hitler quote. There's an actual Adolf Hitler said, if you make the lie big and you tell it often enough, they'll eventually
They'll
believe it.
Same thing over and over and over again.
No.
That's what they do. And people believe it. That's why people believe they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs.
Oh man, dude, this shit is wild.
And that's why they believe kids are going to school and coming back trans.
Or
'Cause
the
they say
doctors
it
are
all.
just doing these operations like this and
Yeah.
not even consulting with the parents or
Right.
some stupid bullshit like
Yeah.
that.
Right, exactly. So here, let's watch this.
Yeah,
This
let's
is
do
like,
it.
so see if make sure. Here it goes.
Effects of Donald Trump's presidency are no longer distant warnings. They are here, unfolding before you. While many remain unaware, blinded by the administration's relentless efforts to suppress the truth, the rest of the world is watching, and it is responding. Long-standing alliances with key nations such as Canada and Mexico are fracturing inch by inch. The cracks are widening, and the global community is reassessing its trust in the United States. The question is no longer if, but when these relationships will collapse entirely. The consequences will be severe. Every imported product you rely on, everyday essentials, food, technology, will see skyrocketing prices, making even basic necessities unattainable for the average American. What you perceive as a simple rise in costs is, in reality, a calculated strategy. The plan? To systematically dismantle the lower class, to push those already struggling into the abyss of poverty where they will face an impossible choice. Perish or submit to servitude under the wealthy elite. Make no mistake, this is economic warfare, and the target is you.
Yes.
The recent ICE raids are not just about immigration enforcement, they are about control. The Trump administration seeks to reignite the flames of racial inequality and segregation-era policies, erasing diversity to craft a nation built on division and fear. These operations are disrupting local economies, forcing businesses to crumble, and ensuring the economic elimination of the working class. What follows is a society engineered to serve the interests of the few at the cost of the many. And as the oligarchy takes shape, another darker ideology is creeping into the mainstream. Fascist ideals, once whispered in the shadows, are now being openly embraced. Symbolism matters. Gestures matter. Elon Musk, a figure of immense influence, recently tested the waters with a gesture recognized worldwide as a Nazi salute. This was not an accident. It was a message, a challenge, a warning. But know this, the people are not silent. Despite the administration's best efforts to muzzle dissent, the voices of resistance grow louder. Trump's reckless overhauls, his purges of experienced government officials, his chaotic restructuring of critical infrastructure have created vulnerabilities, weaknesses, entry points. This transition period is his greatest liability, but it is also our greatest opportunity. The rushed implementation of new systems, the mass firings of key personnel, and the chaotic dismantling of existing structures have left behind critical gaps.
Yes.
Gaps that Anonymous can and will exploit. Every system that has been hastily restructured without foresight, every official removed without proper transition planning, leaves behind exposed veins within the government's framework. These vulnerabilities are more than just bureaucratic inefficiencies. They are cracks in the foundation that can and will be breached. Anonymous watches. Anonymous waits. The time to act is fast approaching. The administration's arrogance blinds them to the fragility of their own system. Their overconfidence in their ability to silence dissent and erase opposition will be their undoing. We know where to look. We know how to strike. But understand this. Our intervention, no matter how disruptive, will only be a temporary roadblock unless you, the people, rise. This is your warning. This is your chance. The transition period is fleeting, and once they solidify their grip, your options will vanish. If you fail to act now, the cost of resistance will be far greater in the future. To those in power, think carefully. Your decisions now will determine your future. We are anonymous. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us.
Woo! Love that shit.
Love that, right? So
Love
scary
that
shit, right?
Love
but
that
it was
shit,
like
dude.
now that's the thing. It's like now he's basically it's a call to arms.
Yes.
And it's like so we gotta take that
Gotta rise up,
rise
man.
up, man. And it's
Gotta
like this is
rise
where
up.
we're talking about, like you're trying to divide us so
Yes.
we're weaker. We need to we realize that as the class system, with the working class and the middle class and the poor class need to get
It's
together.
Like, yeah, it's like because there's not even a middle. It's
and
not
we need to
even a middle
take
class.
down the billionaire class,
Yes.
and we need to take over. Like I was saying to my son, it's like he was like, oh, we don't want to be like them. I said, you don't understand. They're breaking all the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They're stealing it from us. We need to
Right
start
under
playing.
our fucking noses.
We need to
man.
play the same game. We don't need to worry about the rules. And so what they did was like
Eye for an eye.
I was saying to my wife, I said, we got a lot of these congressmen tweeting a lot of shit. We got at least 170 Democratic congressmen in the legislators, and you got say 45 senators. When you got Musk over there at the Board of Education, you got the Department of Education, you got him over there at the Treasury Department accessing computers.
With 19-year-olds,
go over there,
19-year-olds,
go over there and remove them.
Jesus
you have the
Christ.
numbers. And my wife says, well, most of those congressmen are like 60 or 70 years old. And it's like, they're not going to be able to do that. And I'm like, but there's a lot of younger people too. And it's like, when you go over there in the sheer numbers. So it says, well, that's not going to go over there and do that. I said, and then they went over there and they stood there and protested, but they didn't do anything. Yeah. That fucking dweeb that's standing there in front of that door at the Department of Education. Fucking bring John Fetterman, just tackle the motherfucker. And it's like, that's where the Democrats failed. They didn't get a Proud Boys. They didn't develop an opposition of people that are armed and dangerous and ready. And it's like, we need the Black Panthers. We need organizations that are fighting for the poor classes and the regular citizens and the regular people. Back in the day, how much of impact did the Black Panthers make when they showed up at the state capitol in Sacramento?
So much impact, they fucking banned guns.
With assault weapons. They banned the assault. Reagan banned the assault weapons. That was the fastest bill from written to passed by the governor in California history.
We can't have those darkies with the guns. Nope.
That's right. Wait, black people have guns? Well, we can't have that.
Gosh, man.
Crazy shit. 1968. Yeah.
What was oh my God. He just did the Reagan movie. I used to like him too. He has his brother, he's an actor. What's his name? Not Pullman. Oh my God, I can't think of his name.
Bill Pullman?
No, not Pullman. He was just in the movie Reagan. He did the movie Reagan. God. He's the actor. He has his brother, he has that Newman. It's not Randy Newman. No. Damn
Dennis Quaid?
Dennis Quaid. Yes.
Oh, fuck Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid's been a right winger, him and his stupid brother for a long time.
Oh my God, man!
Also probably
Randy Quaid. That's his brother's name.
Randy Quaid. Yeah, he's crazy, Randy Quaid.
Oh my God, man! But Dennis, dude.
Yeah, I used to like him too.
I feel bad for his son.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's interesting. We'll see.
Man, that shit is wild, dude. That's wild. But when I found out that, because you were talking about the whole Treasury thing, but then I hear that it was like 19-year-olds Some dudes that just graduated high school, haven't even started college yet, and they're telling these older people how to do their fucking job. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Right. And they're hacking into
Ah,
computers that pay the bills.
that shit is insane,
And then
man.
so it's like so people think it's we're reacting radically. No, dude, that's unauthorized access to a computer system.
Yeah,
You're trespassing. You don't belong there. You haven't been elected. You haven't been assigned. You haven't been officially labeled. So it's like that's why they were trying to do it fast,
yeah.
and that's why a judge basically said, "Nope, you got to stop." And when they were trying to dismantle USAID, and they were like, and the judge was like, "Nope, you can't do that right now. We got to put that on hold to find out how constitutional that is, because." It's the Congress that holds the purse strings. And he's
Mhm.
just trying to, I'm going to take over the Kennedy Center, fire. You can't even fire. This is not your domain, dude. You don't
He's
take it.
trying to make it. Like I heard
Yeah.
the whole reason why RFK like flipped and did all this shit was because apparently Trump's gonna be able to release the true things of what happened to his uncle.
Oh,
Yeah,
and the Kennedy assassination?
the Kennedys, because apparently Trump knows what happened and he can
Oh, he
unadapt.
thinks he thinks he knows what happened,
Yeah.
right? And then he's going to look at the report and go, "Nope, didn't happen." Just like with the Kamala interview with CBS. They released the whole thing and they were like, "There's nothing in there that said what Trump said was done." Nothing. So they were like, there's nothing we can do about it. Of course, Fox News will be saying some other things because they create shit out of the blue.
Out of the blue, man.
It's like, listen to this fucking Hannity asshole.
Ugh.
He's just making up stuff, right? And it's like,
Trump's fluffer.
yeah. Oh my God. It's like,
Uh,
how do you live with yourself? Why is that your job? Your job is to make shit up. And he's even admitted it.
he has?
He said, yeah, he said that way when he was after J6th.
Mm.
Hannity was kind of done. He was like, I'm done with this. No way. And he went right
Right
back to it.
into it.
Yeah.
I wonder if Trump's paying him, and that's why. Because again, money talks so loud you can't hear your conscience.
They don't know how much. It's like
Eh.
there's a lot of money flowing. It's like you look at a lot of these people. How did Lauren Boebert get $1 million in her bank account? It's not from OnlyFans.
From all those HJs.
Right. All those HAs she gives in theaters. So it's like those people. How did Brett Kavanaugh get $900,000 in debt paid before he became a Supreme Court justice?
Yeah. I bet you Pete Hegseth got some money too. That fool
How did
looks like
Clarence Thomas get his mother's house paid for and let her still live in it? All of that stuff, man. They're bought and
Oh
paid for. And
man,
it's
dude,
like
it's
we're seeing it more
all in the
now than ever
pockets.
before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got to rise up and and you got somebody in a fucking what's his name? Falk. What's the guy's name? From
Which
V
one?
for Vendetta. The
Oh,
mask he's wearing.
Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes wearing his Guy Fawkes wearing his mask,
Mhm.
telling us what we should do, with a bobblehead. He's like bobblehead as he's telling us, right? But it's very true what he's
It
saying.
is,
So
man. It is. It is. Again, like that's the whole thing, man. That's the same thing. That's what happened with the dude who was running Black Panthers again, too. Again, trying to get it's not about color, it's about the poors against the freaking the have and have nots. And that's why he got assassinated and they took him out, was because he was getting everybody united. And that's the last thing the let me just it's not all white people, but it's all the last thing that the racist white people that want to be on top of.
right, the oligarchs,
The
man.
oligarchs, dude, and the broligarchs. It's just wild.
Yeah,
And that's
wild
another thing
times.
that fucking pisses me off and trips me up is like how you read a history and you learn about like the whole like antitrust and like all the shit that they did to stop the monopolies because they didn't want to have monopolies because they know monopolies are not a good thing. But for somehow, some way, lobbyists more than likely. But the technology, yeah, fucking dude, we can monopolize and do all this type of shit. Let's just go with it. And it's just like, really, guys? Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Never seen so many people just kiss the ring, man. And it's like that's why
Seriously,
stop
yo.
shopping at Amazon.
I
Just
want to
stop
stop,
shopping
but
at
I
Amazon.
can't because it's just the needle's too deep in, man. It's just so fucking convenient. It's
Yeah.
so fucking convenient. I hate it. I hate
So
it.
it's like
I got Audible. I use Audible. Like the motherfucker gets me, dog. He fucking gets me, and I hate it.
same thing. It's like, see, that's the unwillingness of the consumer to give that up. It's the same thing. I was like, look at Uber Eats and all that stuff. It's become such a habit that it's
Yes,
so easy to get on there and order something and have it
yes,
delivered within
yes.
30 minutes or 45 minutes. It's so convenient. But then you look at your bill, you're basically paying for a chauffeur to deliver your dinner.
That's the
You know,
thing. I was just talking to my mom about that shit because I was like, I'm pissed off about like I hate the gig economy because it got rid of like a real legit part-time job. Like I like to work. I used to have like part-time jobs that were legit in like a brick and mortar. Like I had a part-time job at Blockbuster back when we used to go rent movies and all that shit, or like a part-time job at like a convenience store or some shit like that. And it's like they don't exist. The only part-time jobs you can get is being a fucking chauffeur, being a food delivery, or being someone's slave and getting their fucking groceries for them and shit. It's like
no, there's lots of part-time jobs. There's like guys who bag the groceries at the grocery
they're getting
store.
rid of baggers, man.
Yeah, they are, but
They're getting rid of baggers,
right. So it's like, but not
or
at
they're
Trader,
only hiring
not at
the
Trader
God
Joe's.
special children to be the baggers because they're not as I don't know, but I see a lot of like the special people being baggers versus like
Fast
regular
food
people.
still has part-timers there at fast food. Lots of that.
Yeah, I made a vow that I would never do fast food and
BJ's.
yeah, beach.
Yeah, it's weird that you go to Taco Bell, you get tacos. You get a Burger King, you get burgers. You go to BJ's to get pizza. That doesn't make sense.
I'll eat some pink tacos, but I ain't giving BJ's.
So I mean, there's still lots of part-time jobs, but the gig economy did have an interruption. It provides another opportunity though for people too that really want to work hard. But still, I think in the state of California, you have to be an employee. You can't be independent contractor. I think that's the way it's going now.
Well, that's what they were trying to do, and that's why a lot of them like pulled out of California, and then they did that one prop to fucking that made you think it was something totally different, just so they could get their way. So,
well, let's wrap this one up.
Yeah.
We could call this a conspiracy theory show.
Did we want to even touch base on the top 10 influencers? We'll do that on the next one.
Let's come back to the next one because if you look them up, like Forbes has a different list than Barron's, has a different list than So
Okay.
it's like we got to find who said top 10 influencers according to whom.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was definitely, we had our tinfoil hats on, and hey, this shit it's getting. It's like, I was telling my mom this, it's literally like boiling frogs. Like, it's gonna get to the point where we're not even gonna know we're fucking being boiled, y'all. We gotta get out of this. Wake up, people. Wake up.
Let's take it apart. Let's burn it down.
I'm Teddy B. Appreciate you guys checking it out.
I'm Jerry Corley. Thanks for hanging out with us.
All right, y'all. Peace.